Hi, this is Christopher Berg from GoBerg or Go Home. This training video is going to teach you how to ace your next job interview. I'm going to give you 3 tips so you can prepare to ace that next job interview and get that much needed promotion, maybe that new opportunity you've been seeking, or maybe you just want to make more money. So, job interviewing. It's probably one of the most stressful moments of anyone's life. It's an hour to determine your fate. Maybe even the next 5, 10, 15 years of what you're going to decide to do for life. If you take a Google search right now and type in job interviews, good luck in what you're going to find. Probably about 10 million articles telling you to do this, make sure you smile, brush your teeth, whatever they want to talk about. But knowing the industry as well as I do, my 3 tips will get you proven success to help you increase your probability of walking out of someone's office with a smile on your face, a pep in your step, and the expectation that you should get a phone call back. Stay tuned for the next 3 steps as we jump into the first one, understanding what am I walking into. Currently, behavioral-based interviewing is the #1 method of interviews for jobs today. So what is it? Behavioral-based interview are using questioning techniques to determine future behaviors based on past behaviors that's been done in previous roles. Behavioral-based interviewing really allows interviewers to gauge how you go about things, how you strategize, do you collaborate, do you really do the things you said you do on your resume? All those key words and power words that you spent endless hours putting together on paper, it's time for you to put them into action. So, one thing you have to be aware of when interviewing is there is a way to answer the questions. Biggest tip I can give you, follow STAR. One important thing to note with behavioral-based interviewing, the interviewer is going to be asking questions such as, give me an example, tell me about a time when you had to fix something, go about something, get to a root cause of something. They're looking for specific ways in which you answer the question. This is where you're going to use the STAR method. STAR is an acronym and your best method to answer any question that's given to you in your next job interview. Let's take a look at each letter and what they are. S, situation. Situation is exactly what it sounds like. You're going to describe the situation in which you've done in the past to really set up a picture for the interviewer. A good example of a situation would be, let's just say if the question is, tell me about a time you had to design a roadmap and what were the results of that roadmap? How did you go about it? So the situation for me would be, situation was frontline managers in my previous position were having trouble coaching employees. On associate engagement surveys, it was found that 39% of people who were leaving the company were leaving because of lack of coaching or threatening coaching. It was something that needed to be fixed to increase associate knowledge, increase associate engagement, and reduce the amount of attrition in the company. Short, sweet, to the point. Now the interviewer knows what you're going to talk about. Task actions. Keep it short, sweet, and concise. Give 3 measurable actions that you took. In the example that I just gave on coaching on frontline, 3 actions that I would give if asked on an interview would be, the way we got to the root cause of identifying how associate engagement was affected by lack of coaching in the front line was first validating the information through having roundtables with frontline associates. From there, we took their responses to leadership to discuss what approaches can we take to help our managers out and, in effect, help our associate engagement scores. Next, we scoped all the training databases and material to see what was really available to our frontline managers to enhance their coaching skills. What we found, there was no formal training. From there, we created a course called Leaders as Coaches to teach them the basics of coaching, give them a model that they can use in the moment, and also help them with some documentation in order for them to have any coaching conversation on behaviors they identified. Short, sweet, to the point. And let your interviewer know that you're really concise, you're really thought-provoking, and you also know where you want to lead with this interview. The last part of STAR is results. I can't tell you enough how important R is in the STAR method. R is often the most left out answer in any job interview. In fact, 60% of interviewers fail in their job interview to move forward based on feedback that I get because of lack of results focused. Simply, they didn't focus on any results because they never got to the results because of them getting lost in the storytelling and their tasks and actions. Results can only be answered in two ways: quantitative and qualitative. Your situation, your actions produced some type of result, whether it was a behavior change, qualitative, or whether it was a quantitative change, a number. My best tip that I can give you with results is first, answer with a result. Many times, applicants and interviewers like to focus on the qualitative. To give you an example, in this situation, I can answer the question by saying, yes, the Leaders as Coaches class was awesome. Everybody gave great comments in the surveys, they loved the training, and they were able to bring it forward. That doesn't tell your interviewer much. It just says that a survey was put out and there was maybe some good data in there that showed some impact. But what was the business impact? Remember the situation on why you started. It was to increase associate engagement. So a better response would be combining qualitative and quantitative. It's tough to show numbers, but the more examples you can give with numbers, the better you will be positioned. So, how would that answer look like in my given situation? The results of the Leaders as Coaches class actually increased associate engagement surveys by 23%, while reducing attrition by 12% in the front line. Our L1 surveys that we put together actually showed an increase in confidence in our frontline managers, and we actually found that out through additional roundtables that leadership had. Also, the results yielded in a Leaders as Coaches 2 to further the conversations to help them with deeper conversations rooted in accountability, emotional intelligence, and confidence. There, I took a qualitative and a quantitative and combined it to show what I did yielded some results. So again, STAR: situation, task, actions, results. Focus on those 4 letters. Prepare some interview questions ahead of time and map it out, and you will be on your way to acing your next job interview. Tip number 3. So now that you've answered all your behavioral-based questions, you've starred them and wowed them with your answers, it's time for you to really bring the interview home and really take control of the interview. What you need to do, you must have questions prepared to ask the interviewer. It is basically an automatic void if you don't ask any questions to your interviewer. And I'm not talking about those questions such as, tell me in the day in the life of, how do you enjoy working for the company? When preparing your questions, you really need to get deeper with taking ownership of asking them. My best advice for asking questions, you have to ask at least 2 focused on what your job is going to look like in terms of success. A very good question to ask an interviewer would be, so once I come into this role, what does success look like in your eyes? The interviewer is going to tell you exactly what they're looking for, maybe clue you in on some metrics to allow you to continue that conversation. It shows that you're results focused, that you're already thinking about yourself in the role, and it shows the interviewer that you're ready to come in and roll your sleeves up, what everybody wants to see. Second best tip I can give you around asking questions, really ask about the culture of the work you're coming into. So a great example of that question would be, would you be able to describe what the culture is like? What can I expect from coming into the environment? And based on this interview, where do you think is going to be some of my challenges? They're going to know you based on your first interview, your resumes, and it really shows that you're a team player without saying the most overplayed word, I'm a team player. Understanding culture is not only important to them, but it should be to you, especially if you're deciding to choose to work for these people for the next few years. Last tip I can give you, you must ask the golden question. Everybody wants to know what the golden question is. When it's all said and done and you're at the end of your interview, you've asked all your questions and you hold that final one that you need to ask. You look the interviewer right in the eye and you ask this. Based on my resume and everything that you heard today in the interview, what is preventing me from becoming the next blank at this company? Asking that question gives you immediate feedback in the interview, and I will bet any amount of money that the confidence you display in asking this question, the interviewer will actually wiggle in the chair a little bit because they're not expecting that type of question. It shows that you welcome feedback, you want coaching, and where else are you going to have the opportunity to gain feedback based on the interview? 8 out of 10 clients leave interviews having no knowledge or feedback of how that interview went because they simply never asked. I would go as far as saying over 12 HR directors that I work with say when clients ask that type of question, it immediately gives them an extra point in their book because it takes a lot of confidence to ask the question, and it also shows them they want that feedback. So there you have it. We reviewed today behavioral-based interviewing, focus in, and own it. We reviewed the STAR method to answering questions, situation, task, action, result. And we also reviewed how to ask some questions on the interview, and most importantly, asking the golden question. Thank you so much for tuning into this training video. This is Christopher Berg for GoBerg or Go Home signing out. We'll see you in the next video.